Probiotics and cardiovascular health. You've probably heard a lot about probiotics. You've probably heard a lot about your heart. And this is where I'm going to tell you the opportunity of how the two really mesh together. And what is going on inside the body, inside of the gut, dramatically impacts the rest of your body, including your heart health. And everybody these days is talking about probiotics. And I've developed a probiotic as well that I'll be talking about at the end of the presentation. But there are many people who email us and say, you know what, Dr. Jack, skip all the information. Just tell me what I need to do. So for those people, before we get into the science, before we get into the meat of what we're talking about, and I hope you pay attention through the entire presentation, we've got our new product called Heart Helpers. And Heart Helpers is our brand new probiotic, 25 billion in each capsule. It's a 1 capsule per day serving, 25 billion bacteria that are in there of 10 different strains that are all heart healthy probiotics. And I combed through the literature. I found the best probiotics for heart health. And you can buy this product by using the code HEART20 on our shop page that my team is going to put into the Facebook comments. And you'll be able to get 20% off of this product when you order over the next 72 hours. So HEART20 is the code, 20% off of this product, 1 month supply. I did the research, great results, nitrogen purged blister pack. Okay, let's get into the science of this. So could the bacteria in your gut influence cholesterol, inflammation, blood pressure, heart rhythm issues such as atrial fibrillation that is plaguing millions and millions of people, your blood sugar and the diagnosis diabetes, cardiomyopathy, heart failure? What about heart attacks and strokes? Well, I made this slide because the answer, of course, is yes. The bacteria in your gut do influence dramatically your risk of these bad cardiovascular diseases. Now, I could throw cancer up there and I can throw dementia up there. In short, your gut bacteria, what is known also as your gut flora or your gut microbiome, can all lead to cardiovascular disease and risk. If you don't know me by now, I don't know how you found this presentation. I'm Dr. Jack Wolfson, board certified cardiologist. Picture of my beautiful family on the left. I was a conventionally trained cardiologist. I met the woman on the screen who opened up my eyes to natural health and wellness. I left the large cardiology group after being named one of Phoenix, Arizona's top doctors. 2012, I start my own practice. People from all around the world come to see me in Arizona. Gut microbiome, the gut microbiome. This is what we're talking about. When we talk about the gut, we're talking about a specific portion of the gut. Essentially, it is the small intestine and the large intestine. The large intestine are where these good bacteria reside. They can reside in the small intestine as well. But this whole gut microbiome, of which there are 100 times more bacteria than there are cells in the human body. 100 times more, on the order of 100 trillion. And actually, when you have a bowel movement, the majority of the fecal matter is actually gut bacteria that you're passing through. And we want to make sure that we have the best gut bacteria possible. And when we get our first exposure to colonizing our gut when we come out of our mother's vaginal canal. That's why a vaginal birth is so important. We get the mother's vaginal bacteria, vaginal flora. We breathe it in, we drink it in, and that starts to colonize the gut. And then, of course, there is plenty of bacteria in human breast milk as well. That's why that whole sequence is very, very important. And then as we eat and we go into society, in our Paleolithic days, we were covered with dirt. It would be all over us, and that dirt contained bacteria that would get into our gut and do amazing things like make vitamins and assist with digestion and help with the immune system, and would break down proteins and fats to once again help us assimilate all those nutrients. So why is there so much disease today? Why are there so many sick people? Well, maybe the gut microbiome issue is one of the major problems, and I certainly believe so. So what is the problem here? Why do we have so many of these gut bug issues? Well, we have the destruction of our gut flora. First of all, we probably never really had good gut flora, but then we take into account things like chlorine in the water, chlorine in pools, chlorine in the drinking water, chlorine from showers, fluoride in those same places. And then, of course, you go to the typical dentist and you get fluoride treatments, as I did as a child, and you fluoride toothpaste, and all that stuff kills good gut bugs. And then our society is riddled with insecticides and herbicides that the purpose is to destroy life forms, and it destroys our gut microbiome as well. Antibiotics are so commonly taken just for every sniffle. It's totally abused pharmaceutical is antibiotics, and it's in our water supply, frankly, in if you're not getting treated quality filtered water like we sell on our website. Monosodium glutamate is proven to, and other flavorings are proven to interfere with our gut microbiome. Of course, household disinfectants, any chemical you spray around the house that is there to freshen things up or clean things and whatnot, bleaches, that all destroys our gut microbiome. Heavy metals are ubiquitous in society, in the air pollution, in water, and of course in vaccines, and all that can disrupt the gut microbiome. Artificial sweeteners, aspartame, acesulfame interfere with gut microbiome. Preservatives in the food, thickening agents, things that are synthetic that do not belong in our food supply. Acid blockers, when you don't digest your food and you have heartburn, now you're taking this drug. This drug clearly negatively impacts our gut flora, our gut microbiome. And then the end of this list, of which we can go on, but non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, aspirin, and other pharmaceuticals. All of this leads to the destruction of our gut flora, and we're going to find out why we have so many health problems, but I'm going to help you with some of the solutions to the end of this presentation. Gut bacteria, I'm going to get into some heavy science here, so hold on to your seats. And once again, this is going to be uploaded onto YouTube. This will live on Facebook. So we'll always be able to get you this content to slow down and digest it if you want. Or like I said in the beginning, if you're some of those people that are making comments about just get to the point, Dr. Jack, okay, the point is you need probiotics. I created an amazing one. Go get it. But if you want the science as to why you're doing it, and I know a lot of you love that science, like Ellen Garlow Hatch out there and many others, boom, we got it. So gut bacteria and cholesterol, we got the gut microbes, they regulate lipid levels, specific strains of bacteria, once again, they're in the colon, they impact how the gut manages the production of cholesterol going back to the liver. It impacts how cholesterol and lipids are taken up by the liver for reprocessing, and also the gut bacteria, a healthy gut helps to bind up some of those lipids in the gut, specifically cholesterol, and then you poop them out the other side. And we know that when you have gut dysfunction, gut dysbiosis, it's linked to atherosclerosis, because when you have that gut problem, you have leaky gut, bacteria get into the body that don't belong, inflammation, oxidative stress, damaged LDLs, and then now that's taken up into plaque and into arteries, and then you have cardiac events such as heart attack or stroke. And there is evidence that probiotics lower cholesterol levels down. So once again, probiotics are fantastic to lower cholesterol down. The evidence is there. A lot of animal data on this, but there's human data as well, and we see it in our patients. And this is another one of the reasons I help create a probiotic called Heart Helpers. And I'm a big fan of cholesterol. Cholesterol is very necessary, but we want to find the perfect amount for us. And good gut health, good bacteria in the gut will lead to good cholesterol. So if you have cholesterol issues, probiotics will help. In addition, we know that inflammation is linked to all things bad. Inflammation is linked to cardiovascular disease. Inflammation is linked to cancer. Inflammation is linked to stroke, brain disease. Well, a healthy gut microbiome helps with gut inflammation. And again, we got some heavy science on here. I'm not going to get too into it, but once again, when you have that gut inflammation that we can measure, and I'll talk about a test in a few minutes on how you can measure that if you would like to measure gut inflammation, get more objective evidence that there's an issue, we can do so by looking at the gut permeability and inflammation, and then looking at the gut microbiome. Probiotics are anti-inflammatory. Studies prove that when you take probiotic supplementation, you have a healthy gut microbiome, you help to heal the leaky gut, and you stop inflammation in its tracks. Inflammation has a cause, and probiotics are part of the solution. And when it comes to gut bacteria and blood pressure, the link is very clear, and you can see on the busy slide to the right that there's all different possibilities as how gut bacteria is linked to high blood pressure. All you need to know is poor gut health is linked to high blood pressure. Therefore, we need to fix that gut and to get onto the good gut bacteria. On the bottom left there, gut microbiota, the gut flora, the gut microbiome, produce these short chain fatty acids, and these are the food necessary for healthy colon cells. And we can measure short chain fatty acids in your stool. We can do a test, and I'll talk about that again. And when you produce a lot of those short chain fatty acids, as opposed to long chain fatty acids like omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, these short chain fatty acids are different, and they reduce inflammation, improve immune system function, decrease sympathetic nerve activity. Everybody's got all these gastrointestinal issues. Once again, maybe it's a bacteria issue, and let's get you on a good probiotic. And then here you have a study which shows that probiotics reduce hypertension. This is recent research, 2017, and in mainstream medicine, and just really kind of highlighting all the reasons why probiotics are really part of that essential package that everybody needs to be on, that essential regimen that everybody needs to be on. One of my favorite topics and one of the pain points that we see around us is the gut bacteria and atrial fibrillation in general. So atrial fibrillation in general is a massive problem that millions of people have, and I think it can be modified by good, healthy gut bacteria. So if you're out there and you have atrial fibrillation, or you know somebody with atrial fibrillation, this is where a good probiotic comes in to help to decrease the inflammation, decrease the oxidative stress, and hopefully decrease atrial fibrillation. That's what we're, and really, I'm giving you proof that probiotics work for all these different causes, or all these different things, whether it's atrial fibrillation, hypertension, diabetes, thyroid, brain, heart attacks, you name it. But once again, it's all coming from poor gut health, leads to leaky gut and inflammation and oxidative stress, and then the eventual symptomatic disease that's there could be atrial fibrillation, stroke, heart attack, cancer, you name it. Once again, probiotics aid in the control of autonomic rate, and autonomic dysfunction is linked to leaky gut. So we want to make sure that we have a good quality autonomic function, that part of the brain that controls so many bodily functions. Probiotics can help with that. Gut bacteria and diabetes, once again, is that if you have an unhealthy gut, you have a higher risk of diabetes. And there's actually been studies where they take good bacteria and infuse that into the rectum of what's called a fecal transplant into people with diabetes type 2, and their blood sugar improves. So we want to get people on good bacteria, and living, first of all, is to live the healthy lifestyle, get those poisons out of your life that I mentioned that lead to gut dysfunction, gut dysbiosis, and then you're going to go ahead and replace with good bacteria. Probiotics for diabetes prevention, it's in the literature. Again, 2017 current diabetes review, it's right there, and the evidence is clear. Gut bacteria and cardiomyopathy. Again, a lot of people are walking around with heart muscle dysfunction known as cardiomyopathy, congestive heart failure. The medical doctors say, we don't know why. Well, we have a great reason why, and it's poor nutrition, poor environment leads to gut microbiome problems, and then on and on and on, and eventually you have cardiomyopathy. So let's fix the gut. This is absolutely paramount of importance to anybody with cardiomyopathy. Probiotics inhibit cardiomyopathy. This was a rodent study, and unfortunately, there is a lot of data that is in the animal model, not quite as much in the human model, but I've seen the human model in my practice, and I know, once again, the benefits from good gut bacteria. Gut bacteria and heart attacks, clearly when people get, when they have poor microbiome, they have inflammation, and that can lead to can lead to blockage of a coronary artery and a plaque rupture, once again, all through that inflammatory oxidative cascade. And the reality is that the good bacteria can help prevent cardiovascular damage after a heart attack, can also prevent the heart attack in the first place. Probiotics reduce heart attack size. How cool is that? This was in a rodent, but once again, are the hospitals passing out probiotics to people that come in with heart attacks? No, no, and no. And even if they did, it'd be some lousy variety of probiotic that wouldn't work anyways in most scenarios. So we're going to make sure we give them a good one. Gut bacteria and strokes. Finally, we got some great information about gut bacteria and stroke. Improves recovery after a stroke, and can help prevent stroke as well. So many different reasons why you need good gut bacteria. Probiotics can improve stroke outcomes as well. So again, get on a fantastic probiotic. Here's all the sources that we put together. And once again, thank you to my lead nutritionist and health coach, Ashley Swanson of Iowa State University, who works down in Paradise Valley, Arizona with us at the Doctors Wolfson, and she's available for nutritional consults. And you can see, if she helped me put this presentation together, she's pretty darn brilliant. So what do we do? There's a few different things here, but I want to talk to you about a way that you can test your gut microbiome. And we offer this test here from Genova GI-FX. And they look at 4 main categories. They look for nasty bugs and infections in the gut. So that could be bacteria, that could be parasites. It could be anything that once again does not belong in the gut from a bacterial, from a parasite standpoint in there. And the Genova GI-FX can really help to dial in if there's something going on, because that needs to be treated, that needs to be eradicated, and we can do so. We just need to know the results. The next part of the test looks at inflammation. Is there evidence of serious inflammation going on in the gut? So inflammatory bowel disease, of course, we're going to see elements of inflammation, but you need not have severe inflammatory bowel like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's to have gut inflammation. This helps with that. Now we look at digestive markers and insufficiency of these pancreatic enzymes, hepatic enzymes that allow us to digest our food appropriately. And then finally, we're looking for evidence of yeast. We're looking for bad bacteria. We're looking for the amount of good bacteria. And that's what we can do on this stool test from Genova. It's called the GI-FX. And if you go to, and we'll put the links in the commentary section, but this is the link you can go to if you want to purchase that test from us. We send you out the kit. It's $479. And that does include a health coaching consultation as well. So we're going to throw that in that for you. If you buy this on this presentation, this is where it's going to live, where you get that consultation as well. And then also you're going to get a free box of our heart helpers, a 1-month supply of our heart helpers. So you get the test, you get the consultation with the health coach to go over the results, get all the information you need, and then you're going to get a box of our heart helpers as well to go along with that. Now, again, probiotics are not the only thing to help replenish gut health. We've got probiotics in food, and this is first and foremost of what we want to do. So we've removed the things that are leading to damage of our gut microbiome. We're removing the chloride, the chlorine, the fluoride. We're removing the pesticides and the chemicals, and we're eating all organic, and we're getting sunshine, and we're not taking antibiotics unless it's an absolute life-threatening emergency. And we're off the acid blockers and the nonsteroidals and the aspirin and everything that's there. These are some of the foods that the Wolfsons love to eat: sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, fermented pickles that are raw, that say, that say they contain live bacteria. If things are pasteurized, they're damaged. If milk and dairy is homogenized, they're damaged. There's nothing that's left in there that's living. Things like raw kefir, fermented dairy products such as kefir, and a raw yogurt. That's where you're going to find a lot of, and there's a lot of functional foods out there now too, where people are adding the bacteria to some of these foods. But the best thing is get organic, get it in glass, and get it from a high quality company that you trust. This is great for babies. This is great for adults. This is great for anybody and everybody. In fact, some of our first foods that we fed to our babies were sauerkraut, and they absolutely love it, raw sauerkraut. So my holistic prescription for today is probiotics for heart health. You look at, I threw away my prescription pad. I rarely write for prescriptions and pharmaceuticals anymore, unless it's an emergency situation. I took out my natural prescription pad, and this is where probiotics come into the picture. So I created this product called Heart Helpers. And again, this is a 10-strain product. And I've carefully selected those 10 strains, 25 billion bacteria in each capsule. And it comes in a nitrogen purged blister pack to preserve the bacteria, to preserve the freshness. And we're just getting extensive, amazing results with this particular product. So I know there's a lot of different probiotics that are out there. Again, we selected these for cardiovascular purposes. Now, it's beneficial for anybody and everybody. Don't get me wrong. There is value in any health condition of what you have on this particular product called Heart Helpers. And what more can I say? I'll be happy to answer any questions. If you head over to the website for 20% off of Heart Helpers, for as many boxes as you want, 20% off, use the code HEART20. And again, 1 month supply, 1 cap a day. If you're just getting off a diarrheal episode, you're having a lot of gastrointestinal issues, you just got off a round of antibiotics, you may want to go to 1 cap twice a day. I don't think there's any risk of overdose on probiotics. I haven't seen it. Don't forget, I worked in the hospitals for 18 years and I never saw anybody come in with a probiotic overdose. So you are good to go there.